Hi everyone, welcome to the Dungeon Masters Academy. Now, I want to talk about 3 things in this video to kick off this series: workload, generosity, and fun. And I see these as some of the most important things to first wrap your head around if you want to be a dungeon master or a game master. And if you remember these 3 things, you're off to a great start. So let's get started with workload. If you talk to any GM or look at the videos out there on how to do this, you're gonna hear a lot about how much time it takes or how much work it is. Or maybe you've expressed an interest to your dungeon master or game master about doing that job, and they've said, oh my gosh, it's so much work. But I'd like to take a different tack. I'd like to look at this through the lens of being an artist. And don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. Now, I've been a practicing artist and a college professor in the fine arts for more than 20 years. And I'm not sure if you know many artists, and I mean studio artists, the kind that make their own art in their studio and show in galleries. Now, for an artist to make a living doing their work, they have to work hard. Artists spend countless hours covering all the bases, from making the work to being their own public relations people to being their own accountants. And it's a tough job with merciless hours. But here's one thing you never hear from an artist: that they're retiring. Now, how come artists who work their whole lives never retire? And some of you will probably joke because they can't afford to retire. I'm probably facing that myself. No, that's not the answer. It's because they don't look at it as work. For them, a creative practice is an opportunity to get something out, to learn to discover new things, to find truth. And that drive never really gets old. And when you're doing it, it doesn't feel like work. So you can take your game mastering as a kind of creative practice. Doing this can be a road to discovery. You will make things, being a GM, that you had no idea existed before. You can take the framework of a story and craft something new with your players that you could not have otherwise conceived of. Now, does this take time? Absolutely. But do you have to see it as work? Not at all. Think of yourself as a master architect setting out to make a space that is constantly forming with new things filling the void at every turn. All right, now one thing before we go on to number 2, if you think you like this video so far and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. And also, if you have questions about becoming a GM or a DM, put them in the comments below and I'll work with you. I'll try and help you out as best I can. All right, let's go on to number 2, generosity. Now, the lesson we've all heard is that it's better to give than to receive. And as a GM, you're giving your players the gift of that unformed framework of a world to explore. Your imagination becomes an offering for your players to run around in, to create in, and ultimately to fully form. And what you receive in return is discovery. If you, the GM, are functioning like the artist, the curious, creative practitioner that seeks some new truth, then your players will give that to you. It is as if you hand them a room full of things, and they fill that room with the narrative. Now, expecting nothing in return is not an invitation to keep players that don't appreciate the exchange. Select your players carefully, and do not be afraid to let go of those who do not understand how that exchange works. This is a collaboration, and you're going to find that the best results come from good group dynamics. Now, you may have to fine-tune for a long time to get it right. Oh, and one last thing in the generosity department. Have the generosity of self-reflection. Realize that the problem could be you. I did just mention group dynamics, but never forget that you are a member of this group, and if something is wrong, make sure to include yourself in the perp lineup. Okay, let's go to number 3, fun. Yes, this is a game, and it's about having fun. And I know I take a highly romanticized and lofty approach to how I run things, but I will say this. I've never had so much fun in my life as when I sit around my table and enjoy the company of my friends in this creative capacity. Now, what does it take to have this kind of fun? Well, firstly, it takes a high degree of flexibility. People think that being a GM is about having control. And if you like control, your players are probably not going to have a whole lot of fun. Are you the type of person who gets annoyed when other people's opinions enter the conversation? Does the unexpected bother you? Do you always feel like you have the best idea in the room? Now, you may need to really ask yourself these questions because they're extremely important. Nobody wants to play a game that's run by a narcissist. Your players are your equals, and frankly, there are more of them than there are of you. So make it about them. Let them design parts of this world. The world you're creating is fully created by everyone at the table. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it quits for this video right now, and that's going to be a wrap. But I hope you liked it, and I hope you're going to come back for more. And please, again, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm looking forward to seeing you the next time around. All right, cheers, everybody. Take care.